two of your most visible players are involved, not personally, it would seem, but their fan bases are involved in saying some very...
Great about the league right now. We do sit at this intersection of culture and sport and fashion and music. Like the WNBA players are really looked at now as kind of cultural.
All right, everyone. We need to have a serious discussion about a topic that's been making waves in the WNBA: racism. Now, I've mentioned this issue a few times before, but recent events have really brought it to the forefront in a pretty disturbing way. So, what's going on? Well, WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert made some remarks that have sparked a lot of controversy. She unintentionally exposed how racism is being manipulated within the league, revealing that it's being used to gain attention. This approach might bring visibility, but it's for all the wrong reasons. Two of the league's most prominent players are caught up in this mess, not through their own actions, but because of the behavior of their fan bases. The tension has been brewing since April, and it's largely directed at Caitlin Clark. From day one, some black fans and players have argued that basketball is a domain for black athletes, and that white players like Clark shouldn't dominate. This has sparked intense debates that have spread across various topics. When asked about the growing issue of racism, Engelbert's response was shockingly tone-deaf. She failed to acknowledge the context and impact of the question, which only fueled the controversy. Instead of addressing the racism directly, she spoke about the WNBA's cultural impact, noting how players are seen as icons in sports, fashion, and music. While that's true, it doesn't address the core issue. Tyler Mouth of CNBC pointed out something crucial during a recent episode of Power Lunch. He noted how the rookie rivalry, particularly on social media, is taking an unsettling turn, with fans dragging race and sexuality into the mix. This isn't the kind of tension the league needs when we should be focusing on the great basketball being played. In response to the controversy, Engelbert made a bold statement, claiming there's no more apathy and that everyone cares now. She even compared the current situation to the legendary Bird Magic rivalry of 1979, where a white player and a black player from a heated college rivalry hit the pro scene and electrified the NBA. However, she quickly pointed out the dangers of this comparison. Back then, the rivalry was built on skill and competition, not race and identity. Engelbert's advice to players to brush off social media trolls was solid, but it missed the mark in addressing the deeper issues. Corporate sponsors are starting to notice, and brands are stepping up to endorse these women, particularly those from diverse backgrounds. This surge in attention, viewership, and money can largely be credited to Caitlin Clark. Her impact on the league is undeniable. For instance, her recent performance against the LA Aces helped the WNBA achieve a significant milestone. For the first time, WNBA viewership on NBA TV outpaced the NBA itself, with 678,000 viewers tuning in. That's more than some NBA playoff games. Clark is changing the game, and the WNBA is starting to compete with men's basketball in terms of audience size, especially on platforms like NBA TV. The fan base following her every move is massive, and it's not just Clark and Angel Reese who are shining this season. Rookies like Ryan Howard and other veterans like Aja Wilson and Brianna Stewart are also having phenomenal seasons. However, the praise for Clark from figures like the governor has backfired. Referring to the Clark-Reese rivalry as a cash cow for the WNBA didn't sit well with many players, both current and former. The WNBA Players Association, WNBPA, and several players have criticized Engelbert for not doing enough to combat the racism and hate speech rampant this season, especially on social media. The perception that she's profiting from this turmoil only adds to the discontent. This situation has only intensified the racial divide among fans. Supporters are aligning themselves based on race rather than the players' talents. It's a tough spot for the league. The competition should be about skill, but it's becoming unnecessarily dramatic. Engelbert's handling of this moment has left players disappointed. What they wanted her to say was simple: racism, homophobia, and misogyny are not okay. Terry Jackson, the executive director of the WNBA, didn't hold back in her criticism of Engelbert. She called out the commissioner for failing to address these issues head-on. This isn't just about rivalries and big personalities driving the league's business. The toxic fandom around the Clark-Reese rivalry needs immediate attention, and the league should have tackled it long before now. Engelbert took to social media to clarify her stance, stating there's no place for hate or racism in the WNBA. But for many, the damage was already done. Fans and reporters have witnessed the disturbing side of this rivalry. Every time a video of Angel Reese is shared online, it attracts a flood of racist comments. On her podcast, Reese revealed even more troubling behavior, like the creation of explicit content featuring her through generative AI. This is way more than just a rivalry. It's a reflection of deep-seated racism and harassment that needs to be addressed seriously, not called a cash cow. The rivalry has been reduced to a black versus white discussion, overshadowing the on-court excellence of both Clark and Reese. Aja Wilson's comments about Clark's appeal being rooted in her being white only add to the racial tension, overlooking Clark's exceptional performance. Some players struggle to accept Clark's success and the multifaceted nature of her appeal, which isn't just about her skin color. Reese, sidelined by a wrist injury, is out of the Rookie of the Year race, while Clark continues to play. But it's not easy for Clark either, facing on-court hostility and the racial hubbub. This situation is getting nasty and messy. What do you all think about the commissioner's comments? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. The backlash to Engelbert's comments is understandable. Many found her comparison to the Magic Bird rivalry not only inappropriate, but also dismissive of the real issue. Johnson and Bird's rivalry didn't involve the racial overtones present today. WNBA stars have expressed their frustration with Engelbert's flippant tone, questioning whether she grasps the gravity of the situation. Racism in the WNBA isn't just an online problem. Players like Reese have faced real-world harassment. The league, predominantly made up of black women, needs to address these issues seriously. It's not just about rivalry, it's about creating a safe and inclusive environment for all players. Engelbert missed an opportunity to take a stronger stance. Players like Breanna Stewart and Kelsey Plum have voiced their disappointment. They stressed that the WNBA should be a space of inclusion, not a breeding ground for racism, misogyny, and homophobia. This isn't about business or revenue, it's about the well-being of the players. Angel Reese's playful comment on social media, suggesting she might be a better fit for the commissioner role, reflects the growing divide between Engelbert's cautious approach and the players' demand for stronger action. The WNBA is now facing the challenge of balancing effective management with the urgent call for social responsibility and player advocacy. The league's handling of this situation has sparked widespread criticism. Players are calling for immediate action to address the toxic fandom and harassment. Engelbert's apparent misunderstanding of the issue has only fueled the backlash. This isn't just about rivalry. It's about addressing deep-seated racism and harassment within the league. The WNBA is at a crossroads. It needs to reconcile effective management with the urgent call for social responsibility. The players' frustrations are valid, and it's clear that the league needs to take a stronger stance against racism, misogyny, and homophobia. This isn't just about boosting viewership or revenue. It's about creating a safe and inclusive environment for all players. Let's hope the WNBA takes these concerns seriously and works towards a more inclusive and respectful future for all its players. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure to like and subscribe for more updates and discussions. Catch you in the next video.